Our next guest is an author, Merideth Canham-Nelson, and she joins us in studio right now to talk about her book, Teaching from the Tap. Welcome to the program, Merideth.
Thank you.
And you will be doing some beer drinking here in San Luis Obispo later on, I assume, because all of your trips revolve around beer. Is that right?
That's right.
And you just got back from Germany. Mm-hmm. Now, this is not in your book. Your book came out prior to the Germany trip. But did you have a good time? You went there for Oktoberfest?
We went there just to visit friends, and we did go to Oktoberfest, and that is a festival that you just can't miss. It is amazing. It's huge.
We have some pictures for those watching online via our Ustream of one of them. Do all the beer glasses in Germany have to hold half the town? And they're like,
I know.
They're huge.
No.
But the ones you were holding were
yes.
rather large.
At Oktoberfest, there is only one size.
Yeah, Patty.
So that's what you get.
Patty and I did some news stories leading up to Oktoberfest. They were worried whether they would have enough bottled beer. But did you find?
Was there a beer shortage?
Was there a beer shortage?
No, and I was a little curious about that because it's not bottled beer at Oktoberfest. So
they're typically pouring, and you're getting it in a big stein, in a big stein in your case.
Yes, yes, and I won't tell you how many I drank that
day. What happens at Beer Fest stays at Beer Fest.
All right. Now let's talk a little bit about your book. You were living up in the Bay Area, and you were trying some of the wonderful beer operations that are there in the East Bay. Like you were in Berkeley.
We lived in Oakland.
In Oakland, and so you had Triple Rock there. You had what's the one right there in downtown Oakland? I used to go there all the time, and now I can't think of it. At the cute little building downstairs.
Right, and I can picture it Pacific
Coast Brewing Company. Yeah, and so you had all these different places. Then you started to work at a location, and people wouldn't really ask you the questions about the beer because you were a woman.
That's right.
What's that about?
Well, that was about 20 years ago, and everyone was a student of craft beer at that time because it was just starting to get going again. Yeah. And there was an assumption that women didn't know much about beer. So often I wasn't asked questions, or if I asked a question, they would answer to my husband. It's like, well, I'm the one who answered that. I'm the one who asked the question.
Right.
So I didn't want to be a dumb waitress, basically. And if I was going to work at a place with beer, I wanted to know the beer. And we decided that the best way to do that was to go visit the breweries themselves.
Research.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And also, if you're doing something you love, the saying that you don't work a day in your life, it's great that you found something to do that you both of you absolutely enjoy.
Yeah, and I would have never guessed at 20 years ago that it would have turned into the just full-on obsession that it is now.
And it's an obsession on both parts. We should mention that your husband has a website, thebeergeek.com, right? And then you can get the book through that website, and we have links for you at eatdrinkexplore.com. I need to update those after the show's over because I have some side issues, but that's a whole separate issue.
Website under construction.
Website under construction. So then at what point did you get the light bulb moment that said, let's spend an entire year traveling around the nation, checking out breweries and write a book about it?
Well, we actually originally wanted it to be a TV show. We had fantasy of, being on a travel show, and quickly realized that we didn't really know how to do that.
A lot of work.
Yeah. And so we kind of rethought it, and I'm the better writer, so we decided that I would write a book about it.
Yeah, and you started your very, very first trip took you to Alaska?
Yes, Alaska in January, and I was a little worried about that.
That is dedication.
Yeah. But you know what, is that year it ended up not being as cold as I thought it would be. So I was a little disappointed because I had, this idea that I'd be telling all my California friends that I was, freezing my buns off in Alaska, and it actually was it was warm for them.
Now, the subtitle of your book is Life Lessons in Beer, right? Do I have that right?
Year in Beer.
Doesn't it say life? What is it? I don't have it in front of me. It's next to my bed. And so I
Life Lessons from Our Year in Beer.
From Our Year in Beer.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so what sort of life lessons did you learn from a year in beer?
Well, for example, with Alaska, it was follow your heart, because this was a crazy pipe dream that we had for this whole year, and this was the first trip, and it was like, wow, this is fantastic. We had such a great time that it really it really said to us what the whole year was going to be about. And if we hadn't followed our heart and just went ahead and did it, then it would have never happened.
So true. People have to follow their heart.
Right.
Okay, so you went obviously to a lot of places. What's like the craziest, farthest, wackiest place you went?
During the year in beer? Oh. I don't know if any of them were particularly wacky. We did go to Germany twice.
Okay.
We went to Belgium. And I didn't like Belgian beer initially. And so this is why experiencing beer within its own context and going to the places where it's brewed is important, because that's how I discovered, I actually really like this.
Oh.
And that happened more than once. So
I'm not a giant fan of Belgian-style beers made in the United States. I find the banana ester taste too strong, and it's something about it just really turns me off. I cannot stomach it. But when I was in Amsterdam, they are so close to Belgium there that they had a lot of it on tap, and I found that I liked it. Same sort of situation.
Yeah, and one of the things that we did do, to answer your question, Patty, is when we went to Belgium in December, we visited all 7 Trappists in 10 days.
Wow.
And that was quite a feat. We thought that was kind of the holy grail search
This
of
is where
beer.
the monks make beer.
Yes. And we couldn't actually go into all the breweries, because one of the rules for Trappist beer is that it needs to be brewed either on the site of a monastery or at least under the supervision of a monk. And so they're working monasteries, so we can't go in them.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
Is.
So they just turn you away, or you knew about it ahead of time?
There's big gates, so you can't get in.
You found out.
Makes it perfectly clear we're not supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And so, is there a second book coming up? Like, or do you have like another year in beer, or what's the plan?
Well, we spent our whole life savings plus on the year in beer, and so I'm not sure that we'll be able to do that again. But we definitely still travel, and so it's the wheels are turning in there. So we'll see if another one comes out.
Well, what I like about the book is your honesty and style of writing. You really tell the reader what you're thinking, and you're very honest about misconceptions you may have had and things that other people might be embarrassed to write about, but you just put it down there. No, I don't mean that like in a bad way.
Personal and honest. Yeah.
And you know what? And that's actually the feedback that I'm getting. Even my friends are like, "Seriously, that's the way you were thinking?" And it's like, yeah. And they kind of laugh because I am quite shy and insecure, and they just laugh because they're like, what? That's not true. So that's why I ended up being life lessons, because I learned so much, and I actually really changed, and I'm a lot more outgoing now than I was previously. But it was meant to be a personal story, a travel log, which there isn't anything like this out there about beer.
No,
So-
there's not. It's a very unique book, and I think people will find it very entertaining to read through the different lessons that you learned along the way and learn some of their own while they're reading yours. We only have a short time left. Darn it, I don't think we really... the first guy that you met was from Dogfish Head Brewery, and that was a really great moment in the book, I thought. And
You could leave them hanging. They'll have to read the book to find
They
out what
will.
they're
That's
talking
right.
about.
I just had their gluten-free strawberry beer the other day, and
Oh.
it's made with the guar or sorghum. It wasn't my favorite, I'll just say, but their other beers are fantastic.
Yes, well, you were very brave to try that one. Okay.
Yes, author
Yeah.
Merideth Canham-Nelson joining us in studio to talk about her book, Teaching from the Tap, or as I typoed here, Teaching from the Tap. But Meredith, thank you for being in studio with us today. We'll have to grab a beer later.
Yes, thank you for having me, you guys.